Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials on any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Now let's get started with networking. So we are going to understand the Kubernetes networking, which we have also understand with a little bit of services as well. So there is a one thing which we have, which is set by Kelsley. He's a Google engineer. There is no such thing as called container networking. Yes, networking is networking. The concept of the networking is same as physical machine with virtual machines with a container, and with a container with a pod. So everything everywhere is the same. Okay. With that, the fundamental requirement for the Kubernetes is to have three important requirements which we have discussed during the proxy also. Pods on a node can communicate with all the pods on all the nodes without a NAT. Agent on the node can communicate with all the ports on that node, and pods can host network pods in the host network of a node can communicate with all the ports on all nodes without a NAT. So these are the requirement for the Kubernetes networking. So here these are the policies provider which I have shown you last time also, which support those networking requirement like ACI, Calico, Canal, Cilium, CNI, Genie, Contiv, Contrail, Flannel, Nater, Meltus, NXCs, and many more actually. So these are the network policies which satisfy the requirement of Kubernetes networking. But the question is how Kubernetes networking works. So we know that every pod has a unique IP, right? That that is the things which we've been discussing. So how this is helpful for us? So look at it here. Uh, how this intra-node communication happen. So guys, this image is very important. Very carefully you look at it. This is a one node, okay, and I'm talking about the intra-node communication. Intra-node communications. So here you have one node, and in a node ETH0 is a node network. Okay. Now if you see that here, CBR0 is basically a queue proxy bridge, which each node have it. And now after that, proxy bridge is connected with the virtual Ethernet of container networking. So now you see here there's a one pod and you have a two container, container one, container two, and there is one more container which is hidden basically, which you see that. But actually, when you describe the pod, that hidden pause containers, you won't see it, but that is holding the network basically. Okay, so here you have a this scenario. So here first all the traffic come to the node network, then proxy, and proxy transfer that communication to this. So how it works, let's understand that. See that here, uh, this is the one of the Kubernetes node. You have a node network and a root network namespaces which we discuss actually, and only look at the image here. Then you have a veth, and through the veth they connect through the ETH0, which is a pod network. And again you see here, in between the CBR0 comes. CBR0 is your queue proxy. So here ETH0 is your node network, CBR0 is your queue proxy, CBR0 is connecting through the VETH and VETH through the Ethernet, the pod network. That is how these communications happen. So now look at this image very carefully. It should play, it's not playing. It should play actually. Okay, so how this intra-port communication works? So let's say if you want to talk from the pod 1 to pod 2, then first it will travel to ETH0, ETH0 to VETH, VETH to CBR0, and CBR0 will tell, okay, this pod is under my control only, so it will transfer to pod 2. Okay, now I'll show you how the inter-node communications happen. So for the inter-node communications, I'll just skip on the discussion. Yeah, look at my screen here. See that inter-node communications, how it happens. So let's say if you want to travel from the pod 1 to pod 4. So first the traffic which is passing from the ETH0 to VETH, and the VETH to Q proxy, which is a CBR0, and from CBR0 Ethernet, the node network, and then through route table it travel to the other node, and then other node to the bridge, and bridge to the particular pod network. So this is the internet. This is a inter node communications. Okay. So now I did show you one POJ containers in every pod. So yes, there is one container which you can find in every pods actually. What is the container? POJ container. Can you see it through the describe? No, that is hidden actually. So what is the job of the POJ container? So POJ container basically will be hidden in the each pod, and basically that POJ container hold your network. Okay, so if you look at this image here, you have a POJ container, Nginx container, and Ghost container in the same pod, and they talk to each other through the local host. POJ container is basically for the networking. Okay, so now if you want to understand more about this network policies and stuff like that, so for that purpose you need to understand the OSI model. I think you know that these are the 7 layers of OSI model, starting with application, presentation, session, transport. Now again, if you look at this transmitting, when it comes from the transmitting the data, it start from the application to physical. When it comes for receiving the data, is travel from the physical to applications. Now this is a, we call it L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, like that. So first three on top layer we call it a soft layer, and then last three of this we call it a hardware layer, and then in the middle we have a transport layer. So these are the layers which using that all that network getting transferred. Now I would like you to read only L2 and L3, which is a layer 3 and layer 2. You can read, you should read all this stuff also, but for this discussion, only L2 and L3 is needed. So what is happening at the L3 and network level? So layer. So in the here L3, route and release data units across the network of nodes, and which manages the flow control and call establishment procedures. Now in L2, what happens? Transfer data units from one network to another network over the transmission circuit and ensure the data integrity between the nodes. Now look at this here, this which are the protocol work. So the L2 and L3, only look at the L2 and L3, though you should study a little bit more about it. So network layer, which protocol which is processing, so IP, IPsec, ICMP, IGMP, and in the data link layer, Ethernet, SLIP, PPP, FDDI. So yeah, now what are the function of each layer? So L2 is basically read the MAC address from the data packet, and example is switches. L3 basically read the IP address from the packet, and example is router. L3 layer 3 switches also. Okay, so now what is the layer 2 which we should focus here? So the data layer, data link layer of the OSI networking model, layer 2 deals with the delivery of frames between the two adjacent node on a network. And Ethernet is a Ethernet is a trust noteworthy example of layer 2 networking with a MAC represented as a sub layer. What is a layer 3? So layer 3, a network layer of the OSI networking model, where layer 3's primary concern involves routing packets between the two hosts on the top of the layer 2 connection. Examples, some of the protocols are IPv4, IPv6, and ICMP are example of layer 3 networking protocol. You should also understand the VXLAN. So virtual extensible LAN, primarily VXLAN, is used to help large cloud deployment scale by encapsulating layer 2 Ethernet frames with the UDP datagram. VXLAN virtualization is similar to VLAN but offers more flexibility and power power. VLANs were limited to only 4096 network ID. VXLAN is an encapsulation and overlay protocol that runs on top of existing network. Again, what is the overlay network? The one which we have used it. So overlay network is a virtual logical network built on top of existing network. Overlay network are often used to provide a useful abstraction on top of existing network and to separate and secure different logical networks. What is the encapsulation? So encapsulation is the process of wrapping network packets in additional layer to provide additional context and information. In overlay network, encapsulation is used to translate from the virtual network to underlying address space to route to a different locations. Okay. Mesh network, there are some more BGP protocol and VXLAN kernel route tables. So yeah, overall you have to understand all this stuff. Now this table is important. This table is important. Now you see that here, which are the network policies which you are talking about. So look at the bottom section of it. L2 basically for the Kubernetes here, pod communicate using L2. So which technology is being used for that? L2 ARP and broadcast. Encapsulation is there? No double encapsulation. Okay, so L3 basically pod traffic is routed in an underlay network, that's called overlay, something like that. A routing protocol is BGP. Here also no double encapsulation. Your network policy is for this Calico. Overlay, pod traffic is encapsulated and uses underlay for the reachability. The protocol technology which we use it for this VXLAN, and here double encapsulations are there. And some of the examples of the overlays, Flannel and Weave. Now Weave, the one which you have used it in our demo. Cloud also has their own networking implementation, so which is for the pod traffic is routed in a cloud virtual network. So yeah, many examples are like a GKE, ACS, EKS. Okay, so there are some of the diagram for the overlay. This is the L2 approach. This is the L2 means physical network, but in overlay they created one logical network on top of the physical network. This is L3 where the routing happens through the router table. Okay, so most important architecture which is very popular in a Kubernetes is Calico. So Calico is basically L3 BGP for the route distribution, policy driven network security implemented by IP table rule. So now again each and every policies we need to understand in detail and get going. So for example, in a Calico itself you have etcd, bird, confd, and Calico Felix. So more about the Calico, you can again, it's a part of again more reading and get understanding. So guys, in short, yeah, there are so many network policies has been developed for Kubernetes for the pod networking. One of these you can use it, depends on whether you want L2 or L3 or overlay, and accordingly you will find the policies for it, and you can install the policy, just a matter of one line of command and get using it. Okay, did you all understand that? Any questions?
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.